It's whatever, baby. It's whatever, baby. It's whatever.
Welcome to another wonderful episode of Whatever by Hektek, featured on the HD Nation Network on YouTube. Go and check this out. We have Beyond Pixels, and we also have Whatever by Hektek, this podcast. Also, check me out every Saturday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a hell of a show called Enlightened Idiots. You're not going to want to miss out. I am joined by a lovely guest of the adult entertainment industry. I'm going to bring her on and have her introduce herself. Hello, go ahead and introduce yourself for the wonderful people at home.
Hi, I'm Laci Foxx.
All right, Laci, we're going to dive into this and we're going to dive into this pretty well. What got you? Well, tell the fans a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do, all of that.
I am an adult content creator. I make porn, I make fetish customs, and all those types of things within that realm. I work with production companies, I work solo, I work with other performers independently, and I make everything from like vanilla all the way up to fetish, dom sub kind of I have material. So
Okay. Which one do you prefer? Which one do you like most?
I like the fetish stuff the most.
Why?
I feel that it's more individualized. I usually get a lot of those types of customs.
Mm.
But I feel like it's more individualized and intimate because there's a level of trust there with the
Okay.
person that you're with because they're opening up to you about things that might not seem like status quo or normal, you know. And I feel like that's important for people to know that those things are okay. I mean, as long as they're like legal and all that stuff, um,
Right.
that's okay. And I
Yeah.
think that's why I like it so much.
I when I started into the world of fetish, we often get to the surface level of things. And then when you actually get put on to some of the fetishes that are out there, you vastly realize like there's a lot of shit out here.
Yes.
There's a lot of shit out here that people want to see, enjoy to see, want to participate in, all of the above. There's a lot of shit. What would you say is the craziest fetish request that you may have gotten from a fan?
I had one that I was starting to work on. I never fulfilled the order, but I did have a request for dirty used slippers, covered in chewed bubble gum and with my like vacuum cleaner dumped out all over it. They backed out, but that was probably the most I would say obscure request I've ever gotten besides um, mowing in my shirt and then sending my shirt out to somebody. So, which isn't like all that strange really, but I
Right.
don't feel that I'm a very odorous type of person. So I was out mowing the lawn in like a sweatshirt, like over the
Oh,
t-shirt, like
got you. To make
made
it
sure I had
extra
like
sweater.
yeah, made sure I had like no deodorant and stuff. And I was just
Yeah.
really like trying to get it on the shirt and was hoping there was something going on because you can't always smell yourself. So, but you had
No,
asked,
well, true. However, some people should.
yeah, that's true.
Some people should because Lord, you know how you know
Yeah,
how
the smells are not for everybody. So,
yeah, and
I
you
get
know how
that.
like when someone smells bad and you start checking yourself, like, hold up, is that me? Like, where is this coming from? Yeah, some people are yeah, smelly. What inspired you to step into the world of content creation and adult entertainment?
I have always always been interested in the adult industry in one way or another. Like just really curious about it and how things, how things went down, and how everything happened. And I would say it was probably like within the not like the first year of like lockdown, type situation, but going into like the second year, like after, because like everything got kind of ramped up with COVID. It didn't really hit hard until, starting into that 2020. So
Mm.
2021 is when I really started doing a lot of research. And the first thing I did is I hopped on like a fetish site and I started selling my used clothing items and
Mhm.
picture sets and that kind of thing. And that's kind of where I started at. And I did it as like kind of I was trying to create an income like at home, so I could do things from home, and it kind of snowballed from there. Pun intended.
Okay. Ah, we're about to get into that. We're about to get into that. Yes, we are. Don't think you have escaped the wondering eyes. All right, I will be honest. I find fluffing to be kind of even so more interesting than the actual act of, right? And now fluffing is technically taboo or shunned upon or not talked about as much. So why did you say no? I will wear this crown proudly and I'm going to do what it is that I need to do. Like what made you say, you know what? I want to be a fluffer for people or events and stuff. Like what made that happen?
Um, Brief backstory. In my 20s, I didn't feel that I was like adult industry material. I wanted to be in the adult industry,
Mhm.
but the front portrayal, like media and stuff, doesn't really portray a bigger breasted person, or unless, it's even if, okay, I'm going to age myself, but like early 2000s, right? So I was like, what is something that I could do that wouldn't require me to be in front of the camera per se, but I could still participate. And then I was like, I could be a fluffer. So I added fluffer to my bucket list. And then, like, almost 20 years later, I did it. And it's been on my
Okay.
bucket list for like ever because I never thought that there was space in the adult industry for someone who looks like me or my age or my size or my
Mhm.
interest or anything like that. And when I learned a lot about it and I had followed TPX, aka Tadpole or whatnot. Um, they had spoke about Rebels. Um, GB. I don't know how detailed I can be.
Be
Um,
detailed.
okay, so they talked about her gangbang, and I was the first one to step up, and I was like, "Do you need a fluffer?" Because it was a very large amount of men she was
This
taking
the
on, and
one
I was
where in the white room, big auditorium type deal, like a not auditorium, like a convention hall.
yes,
Okay. Ah, see, you didn't know.
I'm glad. So I don't know. I always just wanted to do it, and I'm orally motivated. So it was
Morally
great.
motivated is crazy. Continue.
Yes. Um, yeah, all the way around. Definitely, probably, most likely, an oral fixation on my part. So
Uh,
um, I do smoke tobacco. I drink coffee. I lots of things with the mouth.
okay. Okay.
Give me snacks, all kinds of snacks. I'll be happy.
Okay. Okay. So so it was on your bucket list for 20 years. You finally did it. How was it? your first experience doing it? Tell us some of the details, backstory, what have you.
Um, the only thing that would probably change different for myself was to have knee pads.
I think that should be definitely one of the requirements for the job. Yes.
Yes, there was like some pillows and stuff provided, but 1.5, 2 hours in, even a half hour in, and you're kind of regretting not having a good knee support. But um, it was a very big event, but it was also fairly well planned out as well, and very detail oriented on Tadpole's side of things.
Mhm.
Very, very specific way. Like he had certain days at a testing facility and he would be there with them, with everyone, the male participants and everyone else getting tested. Tests were checked as people were coming in the door, and each person got a number. So that's how you knew that their test was checked. There was multiple people. I was one of them helping check tests because I know how to read them um, as a porn person, and being on the trustworthy side,
Mhm.
I'm not just being like, oh yeah, we're good. So, and I know he did a lot of, Tadpole did a lot of things behind the scenes to make sure it all went smoothly. Like the night before, they'd wrap the whole room in plastic, all the chairs, everything. Um, um, we had specifics of, where we could sit up because they're going to do like a live stream and everything of it. Um, It was crazy. My favorite part, besides when I was finished, because it was a lot of work, about 35
So,
dicks that day.
so you sucked 35 dicks that day.
Yes. Now,
Is that a
mind you,
record for you?
yeah, oh, yes, yes.
Okay. Okay.
Now, mind you, some of them went to different people's lines and the men as they were waiting to get their turn. So it wasn't like they didn't go to the other ladies or anything, but it was a rough head count. um, when I was editing, because there was a lot of guys in the frames and some, in the lines and walking in front. So I was trying to keep track because a lot of it was like me in the frame because we were allowed to shoot our own content. So a lot of it was like me in the frame and then like them from like here down. So
Mhm.
unless I could be like, okay, the person with the blue boxers already came back around, or anyway, um, let me see. Um, but yeah, the realization moment for me, besides like seeing everybody in the room, was they were all starting to line up on different sides and form lines around. There was me and six other gals who were fluffing for
Mhm.
Rebel. And they started to walk towards us. And as I went to drop to my knees, I just looked around and I was like, this brings things into perspective. And there was some chuckling, and because you can't really wrap your brain around it, so like sometimes you see it physically
Mhm.
um, in front of you, like all the people, all the cock, right?
Right. Right.
So, but it was great. I loved it. I would do it again, and I'm hoping to because I think they're planning something. There's
Okay.
been some posts and inquiry, so we'll see.
No, trust me. On the production side, when there's so much moving parts, it takes time to set up. Like people will be like, even assuming, even with customs, people are like, "Oh yeah, this is what I request, so it should take you no time to do it." And it's like, no, A, I have to be in the mood to do it. B,
Sometimes, yeah,
there's there's so much time that goes into editing and setting up and equipment failure, equipment not working properly. If you're waiting for other people, especially if you're doing it solo, okay, it's kind of on the easier side. But when you're waiting for other people, it is the worst because you're ready, they're not,
yeah,
you know? So I can understand another event not being back to back right here, right now. What was your best experience from that night?
My best experience was getting to meet and interact with all of the other talent that was there and
Hmm.
all the other fans that had come in to participate. And it went really well, like socially. I think there was no issues as far as I know anyway, with people like getting along or what was going on. And it was a really good experience to be able to meet all those people and then, watch them glow up at the same time. Some of them didn't, were already way up there. But to watch people as they progress in their careers as well and know them and like have pictures with them and be able to like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's been 2 years since we met. How are you? That kind of stuff. And, happy birthdays. And I would say that was probably the best part besides checking it off my bucket list.
Sure. So, how many times have you been a fluffer for another? Like I said, I enjoy it. It's almost like the realest form of amateur, right? Because it's like, oh shit, what are they doing? I know the action is right here, but what's going on back there? Like, you know what I mean? And I'll add another, question onto that. But have you done any other fluffing for anybody else? Or damn, no dick
I
sucks,
know.
huh?
I mean, just the regular stuff. I
The
would love
reg-
to. Yeah, I would
what
love
would
to.
if you were to set a fluffing record? If you say, "Hey, this is how many dicks I want to suck in a night," what would be that record or that number and why?
I would say I would probably 50.
50?
Yeah, and that would be, I mean, there'd be a lot of factors and then they're like, is this in a row? Is it to completion kind of
What would you
situation?
prefer?
Um, to completion.
Where would you want the completion to be finished at? I don't know why I said it like that.
In this
Where
region,
would you? Okay, okay. So you just
I would
want
have to.
like
I would love a bukkake. That would
I
be
was
great.
about to ask that. I was just about to ask that. Okay. So you want a chest bukkake?
Yeah, that would be great. I just don't like the factor of possibly getting stuff in my eyes
Shut
because I
them.
wear contacts. So
Just close them.
I mean, I got my glasses. I guess that's I could just.
Yeah. All right. So like fluffing used to be a thing early 2000s and beyond, right? But nowadays you have where there's a lot of female talent that's like, no, as soon as he sees me naked, his dick should be hard. What do you say to that comment from and it's happening a lot. I have never really experienced that, but it is happening a lot where girls like, no, I should not have to suck your dick to get you ready for the scene. You should, if it's not part of the scene, I'm not doing it, which is fair on their part, right? Because of boundaries and consent. But how do you feel being a quote unquote fluffer? How do you feel about that?
I will start out by saying everybody has their own choices and individual preferences.
Mm-hmm.
So I personally think it's very attractive to make a flaccid cock erect. And I don't mind putting in that work to enjoy the fruits of my efforts in that regards. And I feel
Mm-hmm.
like to me that's part of the performance, part
Mm-hmm.
of the foreplay or the intimacy level or whatever. Um, I know for some it's not like not all the scenes are set that way. And it's okay if you're so excited that you're rock hard when we get started, that's okay. If you're not,
Yeah.
if we got to take a break in the middle, I will fluff you. Let's get going.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a problem for me as long as it's not like an expectation. Once it becomes like it's we need to go again, this is your job. Unless it's like a dom sub situation and I'm bottom,
Mhm.
I'm not down with that. But um, if there's like, could you help me out a little, like to get back in the mood? I'm okay with that.
Mhm.
It's all about approach.
No, I
But
get
no,
that.
I think that um, there's a bit of an ego factor with a lot of maybe the talent that expects you to walk into the room stiff as a board. And I understand like time is a factor and
When we
all those
talking
other
about,
things.
but when we're talking about mainstream sets are like, God, 8, 12 hours. Like you got time, you
Right.
know? Um, and I think you are right. I do think it's an ego. It's an ego on both sides, right? It's an ego if a guy walks in and be like, hey, this is what you're supposed to do, type shit. And it's an ego for a woman to be like, oh, you want me to do what? Like, do you know who, like, you know who I am? Like, no, it's like, let's get this shit done. Let's make the best content that we can make, and then we can move the fuck on and get on about our lives. But
Right.
if you're not willing to help on both sides, it's like, what are we here for?
And these are, I mean, in theory, right? The cocks, the men, right? I'm just going to say generally, however it's encompassed. I don't know how to say that, right?
Yeah.
The without being singled out to the gender and everything. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's not like anyone is per se sex starved. So for things just to happen, like, oh my God, this is so exciting. You know, the anxiousness is there's not as much, in my opinion.
Mm.
So for a person to be like, why aren't you rock hard in front of me? But like, I just came like 2 hours ago. What do you, you know?
No, fact, fact.
Or even I mean there's those things too, right? Like if
Mm-hmm.
we're tired, did we eat? Are we in a okay place up here and ready to go and perform as well?
Mm-hmm.
So um
And sometimes even I've walked into a room, either talent or director or producer or cameraman, and I don't expect instantaneously there to be chemistry between the co-stars or whatever. Even the crew, there's not necessarily chemistry there. But when a person is so to themselves, sometimes it does put the whole situation at risk, right? Because there has to be some type of, oh, okay, hey, how are you? And, you know, what's your
right.
name? And if you're getting like nothing in return by asking the basic questions, like as a man, you're kind of like, well, goddamn, like, and I'm just supposed to be super turned on by this? Like, there's nothing for me to be turned on about. And I think a lot of people don't think about that. For us, we're showers, y'all are not. If y'all are having a bad day, no one will really know. For us, if we having a bad day, it is, it is. And think about it. For a guy not to be hard and not be able to perform, it is detrimental to us at that moment. Because this is not what we can come in here like, hey, buddy, don't show up today. You know what I mean? Like, we're not saying none of that. We're like, yo, hey, good
Nobody said you
job.
could get a
Hey,
day
we
off
knocked the
today.
other one. Right. We knocked the other ones out the park. What's up? And then you get the one that you really want, and it's not what happened, and you're like, the fuck. And then to add insults to more injuries, some of these girls go straight to social media with the bullshit or go to other people with the bullshit. And it's like, stop. That's why you have now these 20-year-old boys shooting up their dicks just so they don't have those complaints.
Yeah,
So when they're 40, their dick's not going to work at all.
yeah. It's a bad cycle. And I see it because there's there's always two sides, right? And people will go on blasting other people and saying like this happened or that happened and this is the way. And, in all actuality, um, I don't think unless it's a major safety concern that,
Mm.
excuse me, a dirty laundry shouldn't be aired unless it's a safety issue or whatever. And in all cases, I mean, by all means, like post it, share it,
Right.
get it wrote up at a press drop or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, and that's how I feel. I don't get to work with a lot of female talent or female presenting talent for whatever reasons, but it's hard when you see a lot of those posts or anger or finger pointing and it's done by everyone, okay,
Yeah.
but I see it a lot. And the thing that bothers me the absolute most is like not tagging everybody in the video because like share it. Like I want to see who else. Maybe I'm not interested in one person. I want to see who all is in the. I want to see who they are, who they worked with, what they do, and that drives me absolutely crazy because
And
men in
me
the
too.
industry do not feel fully supported because it's very saturated and there's an equal throwaway factor. Like we're all just disposable. So it's
Especially if
okay.
they don't have hundreds of thousands of followers and stuff like that. And where a dude who has a couple thousand is out here grinding, working, showing up on time, showing up and showing out. But the same girl he literally broke her back to, and she might have said, "Oh, I've never came as hard," goes to Slick Dick 99 because he got 200,000 followers, known predator, known dick
Yeah.
don't work, the whole nine. And she's like, "Oh, I had such a great time with Slick Dick 99." Yet Johnny over here, you say nothing about. And I will also say this too. I'm a firm believer if you put all those spammy Chudo water blah 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 in our video and you don't tag me till 3 fucking posts later, fuck you.
Yes.
Fuck you.
Yes. Absolutely. Um, I
Yeah,
got so mad at
it
myself the other day because I typoed part of the title that had the tag in it. And I was
uh
like, I'm so sorry. I don't even know who it was. Thank God they didn't look like a minor, but I was just like, I can't edit this as like a cute post. I'm like, should I delete it? Like,
yeah.
but I will try to go back and catch some of them you can't put the name in the title, it won't like push it out or whatever.
I
Or it
get it
won't.
too. That X, aka Twitter, aka where the most vile and disgusting people are on the internet now, it's hard to tag people now unless you like go to their page, tag them, it's so much work now to tag people. So I understand
Yes.
it's not as easy as, but if you're tagging, making sure to tag all the popular people, make sure to tag all the small people as well, equally. Or if you don't tag anybody, no one can really say anything about not being tagged because that's kind of what you're known for.
Right. Yes. I was just talking to an upcoming male talent today, and I was trying to we're friends. And he was just, I don't know if I want to do this anymore, and like and this, that, and the other thing. And I was like, do it for you. Don't do it for everybody else because you're just gonna bleed yourself dry.
Yeah.
Have fun for you. I mean, yeah, it's for other people. Like you're making it for other people to enjoy. But when you start like holding yourself to other people's standards all the time or what
Hard
they're
though.
doing or
It's
yeah, it's
hard because it's in
so
your
hard.
face.
It is very hard. I mean, I've had producers say, you've done this and that, and you've been in Hustler, like articles and stuff, and like, why isn't your following bigger? Okay, thanks. I get it. Like, I wish it was bigger too.
Mhm.
I'm not like the typical look, the typical person. I'm not this, that, or the other thing. but I can be like, I have done these things, and I'm okay with, not being a name that every household knows. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I still did those things, so I can enjoy them, even if it didn't give me like clout, you know?
And
Um,
especially with these awards popping up every fucking and people that's not even supposed to be in the categories and hey, nominate me for these categories. I had someone who was upset that they weren't nominated for whatever reason. And I'm like, my God, I've been blazing the charts in this industry for years. And the only nomination and award I've ever won, which I'm 100% grateful because it's one of the awards that I said I wanted to win, is FetCon. But
nice.
I've never been best director, best producer, although my video stamp was literally at one point in time on almost everybody's shit. You see what I'm saying? So it is hard not to see yourself or hard not to say, well, why am I not here? Or why am I not there? Or why is my following count's not as big and my this is not it's hard to say that when you're actually putting into work versus
Yeah.
other people just buying their work.
Yeah, I'm very organic. I will block people if they look spammy because I don't
Mm-hmm.
want my shit to get taken down.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I mean? I don't follow everybody back. Like if you don't look like another industry person, then I
Mm-hmm.
won't. And I
Mm-hmm.
try to be more kind to those that have like the lower numbers as well, because if you're performing, if your link is legit, I will follow you back. Um, and I was saying to a friend of mine today, and and he was just, telling me that he has to pay to work with other people. Sometimes he gets the material, sometimes he doesn't, the credibility. And I was like, I'm sorry if that's the only way you can work with other people. That's bullshit. I was like, they're treating you like a fan because you have lower numbers as opposed to, somebody who has massive amounts. Do you think they're still going to charge somebody who has like 100K, 50K, 200K followers? But they're going to charge the person that's just starting out that has a couple hundred or like 1,000 that is trying to get a foothold in what they're doing. And it shit costs a lot. If you want to travel, if you want to get the outfits, the editing equipment, all that stuff, you already know. And here they are digging in the pockets of what people are trying to put into the foundation of their new career or whatever.
I
And
literally had a shoot. I hope it's canceled for tomorrow, but um, we discussed the rate. The rate was fine. I was like, bet. Um, I was like, all right, well, this is the only time I could do it because a lot of shit just been just all over the place this weekend. And she's like, okay, well, I check out my Airbnb at such and such time. Can you come and pick me up? No. And not because I'm an asshole, not because I don't want to, not because I don't, but I'm already paying you. You
right.
want me to pay you, pick you up, drop you off? No, I'm not doing that.
Sorry,
You know
Miss
what I
Daisy,
mean?
that's not happening today.
Not, right. Like, I don't have to do that. And I'm sorry, whoever that may hurt. But if a producer's already, like, if you went to a regular 9 to 5, you're not going to tell your regular 9 to 5 they got to come pick you up for you to get paid. Like, that makes no sense to me. So why
I
do it on this side? Unless
I
that
will
was already pre-discussed.
right. I will admit I had a shoot. Um I was somewhere, and the place I was supposed to shoot was like 25 miles away. I was on a very tight budget, and I had to do that personally with like an Uber. And I
Mm.
was like, listen, I'm really sorry, but like I had a couple bills come through like early in my shit, and I already paid for all my flight and stuff. I didn't think you were that far off the site. Like if you were 10 miles closer, it would be fine. but like I won't have any food, I won't be able to eat
Yeah.
if I don't um be able if I pay for the whole trip, I can pay for the whole trip, but I wouldn't have, wasn't sure if I would be able to clear everything going back and forth because I think it was like, I don't know, it was 25 or 30 miles. So like 50, $60 each way. And
Mm.
I was like, I think I can get there, but like getting back would be a different story. And like you can totally take it out of my wage and whatever. And I'm okay with that. But like I'm really sorry. I had a bunch of
Mhm.
bills go through and I didn't
Yeah.
realize they went through. And he Ubered me over there. And I was like,
But
you
you
can take
said
it out.
something very important. You said something very, very important. You can take it out of my wages, right?
Yes.
Some people will be like, no, you got to Uber me there and Uber me back and pay me my full wage. Well, shit, out whatever I paid you plus the travel back and forth already.
Yeah.
Like, there's no sense of compromise or no sense of, hey, I understand you're doing me a solid, so here I'll do this solid. Hey, if you need to take it, like I had a company fly me to Exotica, Jersey, and I was like, listen, if you didn't buy my ticket, I'm probably not going, right? So they paid for the ticket. And they paid my wage, and they were like, well, because we paid for the flight, we're gonna recoup that out of the wage. And I was like, I already made enough. Cool, do that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I understand you're already out of this money. Now, unless we already discussed, no, you're gonna fly me there, fly me back, and this is my wage. That's something totally different.
Yeah. And they had told me they're like they weren't going to pay me in cash, like totally legit, like tax whatever. And I'm like,
Mhm.
well shoot, will I be able to get that money to like feed myself later? Like I didn't know what was going on, and I was very adamant, like if you need to take out the Uber money, take it out,
Right.
because I'm not about to take advantage of anybody. I don't want to leave a bad taste in anybody's mouth. I like what I do, and I try to be a fair person as much as possible. Am I kind of a piece of shit sometimes? Probably. We're all a little toxic and have problems, right? I just try to work on what I can and be fair and do those types of things. And it wasn't his fault that I had bills go through early and that I was broke. You know what I mean? And that I thought he was a lot closer to, where everything was happening than he was. But he was really cool about it and helped me get out there and stuff. And I was so grateful because I was just like, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. And I even discussed it with my hotel mates. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't want to cancel, but like, this is so embarrassing, and they're like, just be straight up and let them know what's going on. And I
Right.
was like, okay, it was so embarrassing. I'm so like hyper independent sometimes. So,
And there's a difference between saying, hey, I fucked up versus, hey, I'm trying to get over on someone. We could
right,
read those situations a little different. Because if you
right.
had said that and you're like, hey, heck, my bad, I fucked up, yeah, okay, I got you, no problem. You see what I'm saying? But if it's just like on some, well, you need me more than I need you type shit. So if you really want me there,
And
I'll
when I
go
get
play
there,
my
you better walk into
PlayStation.
the room hard. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I'll be like, I'm gonna go to sleep or watch a movie or do anything else that I really fucking enjoy than dealing with this. And with that, we're gonna take a little break. We're gonna be back once we have words from our sponsors. Laci's out here talking her shit. I had no idea that you were gonna be this candid. I like it, I love it, and we're gonna be right back. And today's sponsor is Motivate Image. Go to Motivate Image on Instagram at Motivate Image. That's MOTIV8 Image on Instagram, also TikTok, or you can find everything that they have going on at Linktree/Motivate Image. They predominantly do boudoir. However, they also do silhouette, bodyscape, fashion. Go ahead, go to Linktree/Motivate Image and book with them today. Welcome back. We're back after having these wonderful words from our sponsors. I'm back with Laci here. Uh, I like. Okay, so this is the questions that I had for you is not the questions that I'm asking you. I'm gonna let you know that now. A few of them, but not this because I like this conversation. So we're rolling. Do you feel like there's a lot of people in this industry that just are capping, aka lying, just flat out lying about their persona, lying about their lifestyle, lying about all the shit that they had going on to, in sense, have the masses validate them in a weird, strange way?
I always try to look for the genuality in people and like the good in them, but it's probably a lot more common than I probably realize. Because I mean, we all have a stage persona and presence, but it's the people that try to make like a scam out of it is the problem.
Yeah. Have you ever met any of your heroes? And you know what they say about meeting your hero, you know? Have you ever met any of your heroes in this industry and been like, I thought you
No,
had
I
been this
wish.
way? Oh,
Man, I tell you what, I they announced that Charles Darrow was going to be in Chicago. And I looked around, excuse me, and I didn't know what booth he was. And I looked around for the booth and for him, and I was like, he must have just advertised it and then like promote it for the company or something, and then not been there. And then
mhm.
like a week later, I seen a picture of him, like someone tagged him,
So
and I'm
you
like, oh my
totally
god,
missed it.
totally missed him.
Okay.
I
So
was so
what do
sad.
you think would have happened though if you had met him and he had been a straight shithead?
I I don't know. I think I would probably have been like just gone the other way.
Because have you ever met someone that you follow their social media? They seem like this person, and then when you met them in real life, you're like,
Yeah,
I
I
like you better
usually
online.
you're better when you're quiet in pictures. I'm sure there is. I'm not really good at like spur of the moment. I wouldn't name drop if I was.
Oh, I didn't
Uh,
tell you to name drop.
I would though. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm
Oh,
just kidding.
okay.
We're not spilling the tea. Um,
Yeah.
no, and I'm sure that there is somebody. Um, but off the top of my head, I can't think of anybody in particular because um, I try to mentally have everybody in a category of human. Because if I
Got you.
start like putting people on pedestals and that kind of stuff, then I will not be able to socialize or clam up. I have high anxiety, social anxiety. Excuse me. So I'm very kind of awkward in person at times. And it is even hard for me to break out of my shell on camera. I have to like overdo it because I forget that like I'm chubby and you can't see my expressions very well. So um I try not to like fangirl over people. There's a few, like Charles Dara for one, Mr. Stud Shit. But there's a few. But I try not to because I would not be able to approach them and I would totally freak out if they ever approached me to work with me.
Right, right.
So I'm very timid in some ways. Like I rarely cold DM people. Like I'll banter a bit and then kind of
You
hope they
told
slide in my
DM
DM.
me.
Well, not exactly. Like for this,
Yeah.
you posted about it and I sent an emote. So I left it open for interpretation. So I mean, like,
Ah,
sort of.
gotcha, gotcha. Oh, so I dangled a little carrot and kind of nibbled on it to see if I would jerk it back. Okay, okay, I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one.
Because
What's
I,
one of the biggest would you say one of the biggest misconception about the BBW niche that you'd like to clear up?
I would like to address the
Oh, she
niche.
didn't say clear. She didn't say clear up. She said address. I'm ready. Go ahead. Talk your shit.
That it's niche. That like everybody chooses to be a certain size to fit a category.
I saw what you did there. You're a little okay. Go ahead, Laci. Go ahead.
Because there are, I mean, niche is supposed to be a choice, right? Unless we're talking about nature and like forces of whatever,
Mhm.
right? We can choose what we decide to produce. Sometimes things fall into place and you wanted to do this, but it kind of went that direction because it was more organic or whatever. But there's this misconception, at least to me, externally looking in, that being a BBW is a choice, right? Because maybe it is for some, maybe it's not for me. I have a hormonal issue and I've had a lot of lady bit problems. So um, being able to stay healthy and get healthy and work out and it'll take me a year to lose 20 pounds. And that's like hitting the gym, doing all the things, cutting out this and that and the other thing and not eating this and drinking diet everything. You know what I mean? And yeah, I do have an issue when I with sweets. So it's either
Me and
like
you
I
both.
don't
What's your sweet of choice?
lately it's been Twizzlers or chocolate.
Okay. So I'm
I'm
not
really not
necessarily
into
a candy
licorice.
person. I'm not necessarily. I'm pastries.
Yes,
Baked
donuts.
good. Oh my yo.
I will make a meal out of donuts. I cannot touch if it's either I just stay away because I will just like blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I love
Oh
them.
my. I've
But
been having good willpower, but fuck lately.
yeah, I just can't touch it. Like, and it's like I could have dessert after every meal, but I just have to stop and stop myself or have something sweet. Like I'll have fruit for dessert. Or I mean,
Right.
I'm getting off topic here, but I have
Oh.
like my thyroid's on the faster side, but I
Mm,
have like no metabolism. I've actually tried multiple weight loss medications after gym, after all these adjustments of diet, and nothing has helped. Mine within like
mm,
10 pounds, right?
mm,
Um, I have like a CPAP now. I have uh, what do they call it? Deviated septum.
mm,
And so no one ever discussed, they just said, you have a deviated septum. They never were like, oh, you're overweight, you smoke, all these other things. Um, but I feel like that's one of the more common misconceptions is that we just, as a BBW person, we just choose to be fat.
right, right.
Some people might, and some people there are like eaters and feeders, and certain people that's their thing, and that's
Mhm.
fine. I like to eat too. I like to eat a lot. My body just doesn't want to let go of it, you know? Um, so that's what bugs me when like the nominations and shit come up. I'm glad that they include like BBW, whatever of this, and it's not just like in a fetish category because I get
Well,
it.
my problem with a lot of the award, but especially the BBW, 340 days out of the year, this woman is saying she's not a BBW, she's not a BBW, don't treat her like a BBW, she's not a BBW, don't label her as a BBW. And then for that month for the nominations, I'm a BBW, look at my, you know what I mean? And it's like, you are, you aren't. You
Yeah.
want to be recognized as this or you don't. Don't
Yeah.
do it just because it's now convenient for you. And some of the girls that I've seen go for the nominations for BBWs, they're not even BBWs. It's just that they find another category that they felt like they could easily win. And so it was
Yeah.
like the low hanging fruit in some people's cases. And that's fucked up for the women. that, or the people that are doing the specific genres, and to get overshadowed by the popular whatever, just because
Yeah.
they feel this category has so many opportunities for them to win.
Right. The one thing that I struggle with as an individual
Mm-hmm.
is I have a huge ass naturally. Always has been a bubble butt. Always, 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 always. And and the BBLs, or is that what it is? Right? The
Where they
injections or whatever.
surgery, yes, yeah.
Yeah. And I have no issue with like implants, but for some reason that bothers me, and it's really dumb, and it's been something I've tried to like work on with myself as to why it bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I don't know
Yeah.
if it falls into like that category that you're kind of discussing about how, my ass is only fat certain times. Do you know what I mean? No,
Gotcha, gotcha.
but I've
It's like
thought about,
imposter syndrome.
right. Yeah.
No, I can see it if you say, "Hey, I have a naturally fat ass," and then you see this other person say, "No, I have a naturally fat ass," and you be like, "I saw you 6 months ago."
You literally took pictures and you have like scars and bruise marks and
Or the fucking tattoo around the midsection and all this other stuff. Now
right.
that's like
I
a
would love
telltale
to have a
sign.
I would love to have that. Like I'll put a tattoo down there, just cut it all off.
Yeah,
I have
but
loose skin
but
from
to
babies,
say,
so
but to like play like everyone else around you is naive and dumb.
yes.
Come on, stop. Your thighs don't match your ass. We know it's not yours. It's okay that it's not yours. You bought it, so
Right.
it's yours. But live your truth, boo boo. Stop trying to. Anyways, we
Who
we.
wants to pay to make my ass fatter? I mean, just do it. It's okay. No one's gonna hate on you.
um.
Do it. Fuck.
Right.
But
As
I
someone
hate
who
having to use those like all natural tags. Like, you know what I mean? Like I feel like I'm
just
calling
to
somebody out.
differentiate
But
yourself from every, yeah.
yeah.
As someone who identifies as poly and pansexual, what's some of what's some of these aspects of your identity that influences your work or interactions with fans?
Um, as a more inclusive individual,
Mm-hmm.
I try to be more inclusive with everybody else as well, and be positive with everybody else. I try to answer like my emails and stuff or my DMs, or interact with people that interact with me, because I'm not above that. Like we're all people on the internet, right? We all live in the phone, the phone people. Um, so I think it hasn't shown through as much as I would have liked, just because of I lack opportunity to work with people that may be trans or not cis het, any, whatever. So, and there's nothing against that. Like I lived my life that way for a long time, before I, ever really came out. Um, and it took a lot of like personal digging and soul searching to know polyamory itself, and to be able to be like, yes, I will work with you on camera. It's cool. I just care about what kind of person you are. I don't care what's between your legs. You know what I mean? Um, so, and I know that I probably lack some of the following and the obvious, like, I just, when I started out, I kind of had like an alt look, and I love that it was cute. It wouldn't work for me now. Someone's like, you should go more natural. So I did. Um, and that's okay. Maybe I'll go back to it. Maybe I'll put some more in my hair when it gets more bleached out from the sun. So, but I think that I try to put myself into Laci as much as I can without Laci becoming too much of me, if that makes any sense.
Makes tons of sense because
Yeah.
Hectic and me a lot of similarities here and there, right? But different. Hectic has to be more outgoing, has to be more, hey, look at, versus me, I would be in the house 365. I could get everything I need delivered to me, and I am fine and okay with
Right.
that. Two more questions, and we'll pretty much be on our way out the door.
Sure.
What's the wildest and most unexpected DM you've ever received?
Um, I would say besides someone being like, "Hey, I think I like you, like let's meet," or whatever, would be like religious ones that would have to be like, "I can save you from this. I can save
Mm,
you from what you're doing. Let's be friends," or whatever. Otherwise, like you get them all the time, like, "Dang, mommy, like can you handle this BBC or whatever?" I
mhm.
get I get those quite frequently. And lately, the conversations in my spam, I have to keep leaving conversations. It's driving me crazy. But otherwise, I would have to say um, those type of ones, like thinking I need salvation or a date.
Yeah,
It's not too
yeah, I can
crazy
see that.
usually.
That's all right. If you could collaborate with any creator, post or present, who would they be and why?
I would probably I would like to learn from pinup, like Betty Page, like
Okay.
kind of in
The
the
black one or
core.
the white one?
Educate me later, please.
All right.
Um, I would have to say that would it would be nice to know a lot of the core foundings of everything in that regards.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Present, I have no idea. I don't. I've been
So
wanting
do
to work with
you do
Thor
you wait
Johnson
for
for a while.
Thor? Oh, just reach out to him.
I know, but it's like same time, same place. Like it's
Okay.
okay.
Do you wait for people to hit you up, or do you like shoot your shot?
Um, Shooting my shot is like 20%. Like, well, I hit the DM.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm really nervous. I don't like rejection. So a lot of times, like if I see people interacting with me, like kind of like then I might slide in the DM and be like, "Hey, are you going to this or that?" But I
Mm.
usually wait for people to come to my DM because there's so much stigma and things around working with the BBW that I don't always assume that somebody will.
I get that. I get that.
Yeah,
Uh, as a bigger size guy myself, I've had some super backhanded compliments, and you're like, "The fuck was that?" Um,
right.
I've had
It's not really
no,
my
we can't shoot.
brand. Like,
We can't shoot content together, but you're definitely my type off camera. Right. I had one. They wanted my camera work, so they were egging me on for that. But then when I was like, "Nah, I want to shoot content," it was like you said, "Oh, my fans wouldn't like what this was going to represent." I'm like, "Your fans don't know which dick they're going to jerk off with from day to day." Like,
right,
let's
right.
let's be honest. If
And I get like people
our
have their preferences for their brand, and like
Just
I
say
shot,
that.
yeah,
I'd
I
rather
shot
you
like
just say, sorry, but no, I just don't think it'll work. Cool. I could
thanks,
cool.
have a nice day.
Thank you. If that changes, let me know. If not, I'm still cool with you.
It's like think of it as like a menu. You're looking at these things. Do you want it or not? Not that hard.
But
It's not
I
dating.
think
It's not, you
it's the
know,
dragging on, it's the possibility that it might be. It's all the mixed signals. It's like, no, just tell me no, because now the time that I'm investing in talking to you about this, I could be talking to someone else.
it's like the time wasters of the industry.
Right.
Yes. I worked with Muscular Jason earlier this year, and we have not everything is dropped. And he was on like my list of people because I really liked his work. It was great. Found him very
Mhm.
attractive and was like, I would love to work with him. And I'll make this short. I had tried to say, hey, are you going here or there? He hates traveling, which is fine. He's like, you come here, work together. And I was like, bet. So I did. There's been like some backlash with people like trying to call him out on like political stuff, and I'm not about that life. You know what I mean? And I don't dig into people, if it's not in the complete
Has nothing
forefront.
to do with professionalism. And that's what people don't realize. They are allowed, listen, the people that I've rubbed elbows with, they don't think like me. They don't look like me. They don't operate like me. If everyone did everything exactly the way you want them to do it, this fucking world would be boring as fuck. However, as long as you're not pushing your agendas on me, as long as you're not trying to coerce or force me into
Exactly.
something that I don't want to do, bro, you're a Republican? Cool. I
Yeah.
love that for you. You're atheist? Okay. Explain more. Why do you feel this way with all this stuff going on? I just want to, and not even for me to change you. I'm just a curious person by nature. So I want to understand why
Exactly.
you
Let's
feel the way
talk
you
about
would.
it.
Yeah.
Of
Right.
course. It
Let's
drives me
be
crazy
an
because
adult in the adult industry for once. And let's understand that people are going to have difference of opinions.
and just because it's not yours doesn't mean it's right or wrong. Unless it's like the obvious shit, right? Like the bad shit. But
Unless
yeah,
it's facts, not opinions, because a lot of people now are trying to push their opinions as fact. As
yes,
long as it's this is, I'm not, well, this is liquor, right? Not saying this is liquor. As long as
right.
it's facts, I can deal with that.
And they're like, well, technically I can get on my phone and like order it. And you're like, no, you know. But anyway, Muscular Jason, he was very straightforward. It
Yeah,
was like a lot of this XYZ content doesn't sell well for me, but if you think it'll sell well for you and you're a professional, I'll work with you.
facts.
Period. And we
And
did.
that's
So
and it goes back to your not tagging people.
yes,
People forget that the word collaboration means we are working together to create something for both of us, right?
yeah,
Now, if it's not working for both of us, then okay, hey, I don't shoot that, or hey, these are my rates to shoot that, right?
right. And I completely like circling back around to when I was saying, I'll try to make this quick to
No,
what I
go
was saying
ahead. Don't cut
about
off. Talk your shit.
okay. So what I was saying earlier about like the people that were charging my friend to do the shoots because he was lower numbers and volume and things. I completely get people who charge for all and every shoot. So I just want to clarify, I get that part of it,
Mm,
but it's the people who prey on those that are only within a certain realm of what their criteria is. But you're okay to have your own, like I get it, like there's a professionalism level, there's like an experience level. I won't work with anybody who only has like so many K. Like, I get that. But when there's like a gray area and there's a double standard with it, like I don't like any of that. So I just wanted to clarify.
yeah.
Because I have rates too, and I have people in my DM like, hey, what can I pay for this? And I'm just like, do you have a brand or are you just trying to fuck me? That's what I want to know.
Oh. And
I want to go so
it
bad.
and it's on both sides of the fence, right? Because I've had girls, I'm like, okay, what do you want to shoot? And they'd be like, I don't care. And you'd be like, wait, what? And to me, being in this industry for as long as I am, what do you mean you don't care? Like, you should
Right. No,
care.
no opinion, like at all.
Do
Yeah.
you what? And then I'll hit them with this. Well, what sells better for you? I don't know. Wait, what?
Yes. I'm a little guilty of this just because
And you're
as much as
newer.
I,
You're
right.
newer. It's expected for you. The first 3 years, you're not going to know, right? Because your
Well,
fans
and
are
the
going to.
library is like this compared to some people's library. So when they're like, well, what do you want to shoot or what sells? Well, I rebuttal with, what haven't you shot yet?
This is a good one.
So is there something that you haven't done yet that you want to do? Because I mean, I'm fairly open and diverse and that kind of shit. So
Mhm.
that's my rebuttal because sometimes being like put in the spot, I'm like, if we don't talk ahead of time, you know what I mean?
But in this age of consent and all this and all that, I needs to know what you want to shoot. So when I arrive, it is what we're shooting.
Yes, that helps a lot. I'll even get as detailed as like, is there a certain type of anything you want me to wear or not wear?
Now that I'm a little bit more okay, cool, yeah. Especially if I'm booking a location. Well, this is for me looking at camera. Okay, this is not going to be aesthetically pleasing to this, backdrop or this surrounding or da da da. So, hey, don't wear this, wear that. And I understand. And let me back up. It's okay to say you don't know what you want to shoot, and it's okay to say you want to shoot whatever because you want to be just fluid, right? But when people come to you business like, it helps us to gauge who the fuck we're dealing with. Because if you don't know what you want to shoot, or you're like, oh, I'll just go with the flow. You're telling
I hate
me
the
you just
gonzo
want to get
stuff.
fucked.
Yeah, I like a little bit of like a little storyline, like just a little bit, so
Mhm.
it gives me something, to bite on and go with a little bit,
Right.
you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll even there's been times when I'm like I had multiple shoots like at an expo and I'm like, okay, I've used this outfit and I have like two or three left and I'm like, do you like pink, blue or black? And
Mhm.
they're like, so I'll let the person I'm with choose or whatever, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Sometimes, and I feel like it adds another element because I don't always know what my counterpart audience wants to see. So if I let
That's true.
my counterpart partner choose maybe the outfit or something, that might help a little bit on my side of things to be present in their videos.
That's also why collaborations, like I'm finding, and we're end off of this. I'm finding a lot of people aren't communicative. No, not communicative. Can't communicate. They
Yes.
cannot communicate to save their fucking life. And when you reach out to them with a conversation, it's very short, it's very abrupt, it's
Just like
very,
text like. Yeah.
very text like, it's very one day it's heavy, the next day you don't hear from them for a couple of days, you might not hear from them a week, then it's like this day you hear from them. And I am a person, give me 15 to 20 minutes of your time.
Yeah.
15 to 20 minutes, and we could iron this shit out and move the
Exactly.
fuck on. Now, can we spin the block every so often and be like, hey, damn, I just thought about this. How do you feel about that? Absolutely. But the platform, the base is already set. Everything else we're just building on.
Yes.
But if I'm like trying to, hey, I have a specific fetish, and you're like, yeah, 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 I could do that. And then when I get you on set, and you'd be like, so what are we shooting again?
I would jump out the window. Oh my God.
It happens more than you would believe.
Yeah. Um, one of my pet peeves, sorry, I know we're closing up here, is timing. Like people
Very
are late
efficient.
sometimes, right? Sometimes people are late or shit happens or like a meal was late or you know what I mean? Oh, sorry, my somebody was in the shower, I couldn't shower and then get to you or whatever. But like when you're like waiting and waiting and then someone cancels or even if you have to cancel, just give me a chunk of time. Like shit happens. Like I'm not your boss, but just pretend. Like let them know
Ah,
like I'm fucking
right,
sick 12 hours ahead of time or
right,
sorry to be last minute, but like this just happened. And I
right.
will totally understand instead of just like, oh, I can't do it. And then later.
I
So,
had someone when I send out the call sheet or send out the notification
life
as a work
happens,
together.
but you know,
I sent the address where we're gonna shoot days out, weeks out, if months out, if possible, right? The day of, she's like, "Oh, well, I didn't realize you live so far. I can't get anyone to drop me off." I sent this out 3 weeks ago. Anytime someone sends me an address, it maybe it's the OCD in me, maybe because I backwards plan. Like I will start backward planning from weeks out. Okay, I know I got this going on. I know. Okay, so nothing collides, right? As soon as someone sends me an address, the first thing I do is fucking see how far it is
yes.
immediately. But I digress. All right, so let's
Sure.
see. Go ahead and tell the people where they can find you, where they can see some of your content at, and or what projects you have coming up.
Um, you can find me on Twitter. On Twitter is my link tree, but also in my link tree you will find my Intimately toy. I'm on my solo spots are clips for sale, and my OnlyFans, which does have pay-per-view collabs. That's a new edition, and it's free. Not the pay-per-view, but the OF is free, and there's stuff on there. Otherwise, I'm on Loyal Fans, Mini Vids. I have two Mini Vids pages, which is mine, and then Fox Den Studio, which is like kind of my kink thing. I was trying to separate my kink from getting lost in with the vanilla and vice versa. Um, so I'm trying to think of what else. I always forget one, but I am on Instagram and pretty much just like look up Laci Foxx and you'll find me LACIFOXX. Um, I really have been focusing a lot more on the kink lately, and then just kind of keep doing the other collabs as well. I'm trying to kind of mix it up and do both, and I've been doing a little bit more solo work as well, and doing a little bit more customs and that kind of thing. So yeah.
All right, all right. Well, it was definitely a pleasure. I didn't know. Like I said, I do my little research on people, and I knew of you before you even reached out, to be on the podcast, but I had no idea of the person that you are. And it is I definitely want you back on. I can say that for sure. All right.
Okay. Thank you for having me.
Um, no problem. All right. So for all the other people that are still, tuned in, although we talked about a lot of different stuff, make sure you go and subscribe, like, hit that notification bell, all those jazzy stuff on HD Nation Network on YouTube. That's where you can find both of my shows,
Go do it.
Whatever by Hektek and Beyond Pixel. Don't miss out. Also have moved the time and day from when whatever by Hektek is released. We used to be releasing Monday nights at 8 p.m. Central Standard Times. Now we're releasing Friday nights at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. So you can get all your kinky weekend thrills and frills through this podcast. Um, go check all those stuff out. Also, go and check out Laci and all the other guests that I've had on and see what they're up to. A lot of people have been out here grinding and putting in their work and making sure their product, content, brand, the whole nine is doing what it does. So go out and support those. And I'll end out saying my saying, be loyal to those that are loyal to you. Trust those that you. That ain't my saying. I'm not even gonna hold you. I don't know where I was going with that. I don't. I apologize, people. I apologize, people. I had a brain freeze at the. I don't know. My bad, because everyone's gonna say that's not what you normally say. No, this is what I normally say. Stay close to those that stay close to you. Be loyal to those that are loyal to you, and don't do anything that you don't want to do. And with that, we are out.